So this Newmar Ventana has a very common awning on it. This is a Carefree of Colorado Eclipse power awning. And besides all the normal problems that awnings have, these Carefree of Colorados have a distinct problem that I've made a couple videos about. It's where the idler and the motor actually mount to the tube itself. So hopefully you can see that screw backing out. They only have 2 screws that secure this cap to the thin aluminum, and a lot of times those screw holes start to back out. So when you run it out, you see this whole thing kind of torques quite a bit, moves quite a bit, as the whole cap is loose on the tube itself. So what can happen is, you see all the movement on there. Eventually these screws fall off, and as you roll the awning out one more time, or back up, all of a sudden the whole tube falls off the end cap and the awning just falls down and crashes into your sidewall. So there's 2 things I like to do. One is replace those screws with rivets, and I'll just use a 3/16 1-inch blind aluminum rivet. So the first thing I'll do is drill a hole in between that screw and that screw, right about there. All right, so hopefully you can see that hole line up and how much this head moves quite a bit. Put the rivet in there and secure it. Then I can take the other screw out, drill that, another rivet in, and then of course the last one. And now hopefully you can see it doesn't move as much, if at all. Oh, unless you go ahead and set the motion detector off. But now the head itself isn't torquing on the tube. Of course, I still have to do the back one still. I mean, you could add a 4th one if you want to, but the 3rd one keeps the whole thing from pivoting on one little axis, because the 2 screws are just 180 degrees across from each other, so it just creates a nice pivot point for that cap to rotate and rotate and rotate until you get the screws falling off or broken. So you may not have a rivet gun or rivets to do this with. You can do it with another self-tapping screw, that's fine. I just trust rivets a little bit more with that thin aluminum. So I have all 3 rivets on the other side now. So there it is. What I think is a pretty incredibly common problem on Carefree of Colorado electric awnings, that I would almost call it a plague and something that is a design flaw because I've had to do it so many times. So if you do have one of these awnings, it may not be a bad idea to take a look at those screws that are holding it to the tube and making sure it doesn't fall off. And of course the repair can be done with just some basic hand tools and a ladder. 2 people makes it easier though.